A few weeks back, I answered questions about Germany, the German language, and German people. And I also asked you to drop your questions so I could answer them in a part 2. And today is the day I'm answering your questions about Germany and Germans. Hallo, herzlich willkommen. Ich bin Katrin und wir lernen natürlich Deutsch. Also heute lese ich eure Fragen und beantworte sie. I'm gonna read your questions and answer them. Und es gibt keine dummen Fragen, nur dumme Antworten. That's a thing that we say in German. There are no dumb questions, there are only dumb answers. So you can ask everything. If the other person is offended that you asked, well, then that's their problem. Even if it's a simple question, if you didn't understand anything, then it's okay to ask, because how can you know if you don't know and can't ask? So let's start with question number 1. And I'll scroll down. The first question I'm going to answer is, do Germans gather mushrooms? Sammeln Deutsche Pilze? And as you can see, that's a question completely out of context, but I'm happy to answer. Manche ja, aber nicht so viele, würde ich sagen. Manche Menschen tun das, insbesondere ältere Leute oder Leute, die auf dem Land wohnen. Natürlich nicht in der Stadt. In der Stadt wachsen keine Pilze oder wir haben ja keinen Wald, wo wir Pilze sammeln können. So in general, I say it's more of a hobby of older generations. For example, I went to collect mushrooms with my grandma for a few times. I haven't done that in years, but yeah, people do that, but not many people and not that often. That's what I'd say. Kommen wir zur Frage Nummer 2. Und die heißt, die zweite Frage, hat Deutschland eine obesity crisis? Also haben wir auch ein Problem mit Übergewicht oder auch mit Fettleibigkeit? Ich würde sagen, ja, das ist ein Problem, aber es ist nicht ein sehr, sehr großes Problem und wir hören immer davon. So it is a problem, but it's not like it's in the media all the time. I'd also say that it's a problem more of the poorer people, just because they don't have that much money to spend on quality food and maybe also not the knowledge about that topic. So for them, it's often lots of fast food or cheap food. I also want to mention that, for example, kindergartens and I think also sometimes schools do know about that problem and try to get kids into having a healthy food. So, for example, you can't give your kid chocolate to school. So there are definitely lots of organizations who know about this problem and want to fix it by educating and setting rules. For example, that you can't bring any sweets into school or kindergarten for lunch. Okay, kommen wir zur Frage Nummer 3. Und die dritte Frage ist: How are things with the noisy neighbors in Germany? I have an idiot of a neighbor here in the country who is constantly listening to the radio. It drives me furious and there's nothing I can legally do with that situation. Are problems like that common in Germany too? Well, you can always have problems with your neighbors. I'm not so sure about the noise. Well, that might be a problem in big houses, whether you have lots of apartments. I've never lived in one of those houses, so I don't know. But there are always rules. First of all, there are unspoken rules, and then of course there are legal rules that you have to obey. Also, wir sagen immer zum Beispiel, es gibt eine Mittagspause. In der Mittagspause ungefähr von 12 bis um 2 solltest du leise sein. Das ist einfach die Mittagsruhe, da bist du leise. Und abends ab 10 Uhr ist es auch Nachtruhe und du sollst keinen Lärm mehr machen. I think that this is also a legal restriction, but I'm actually not sure. It can also be written down in a so-called Hausordnung, if you have this big apartment house and yeah, you have an agreement with all the people that live there. Kommen wir also zu Frage Nummer 4, and I'm gonna rephrase it a little bit. Sind die Deutschen stolz darauf, was sie in der Welt hinterlassen haben? So, are we proud of our contribution to the world? And it says here, for example, people like Beethoven, Gauss, Planck, die Brüder Grimm. I'd say we are proud, or most of us are proud to be German, but we're also pretty modest about it, so we won't brag about being German or, yeah, some kind of being superior, I guess. That's just too much a problem with our history. But I'd say we're not that proud of people, of other German people. It's more that we're proud of things, of inventions, for example, the car, or that we're more proud of being known for intelligence or cleverness or punctuality, things like that. And not so much about a specific person that did something great and now we are proud to be German because of that person, or we're proud of that person. I hope that makes sense in any kind of this context. Die nächste Frage, and I'm going to read it for you. I plan to move to Germany, specifically to the state of Bavaria. Are Bavarians warm towards brown Asians? And first of all, I want to say the term brown Asians doesn't exist in Germany. There is no translation, and we can just, cross that part out. For us in Germany, I think you're just an immigrant. It doesn't matter what ethnicity you are. So I'd say in general, cities are always easier than the countryside. Die Städte sind internationaler, sie sind offener, sie sind moderner. In München zum Beispiel wirst du keine Probleme haben, da bin ich mir sicher. In einem kleinen Dorf, irgendwo auf dem Land, so in a small town somewhere on the countryside, you might run into problems, but then that's not because of your ethnicity. In general, I think that's just foreign and they don't know how to react to something like that. Yeah, that's just a mindset that people have on the countryside, I think in every country, that they're just not so open-minded to new things and new people and more of this international mindset. So let's move on to the last question, and that is, welche Menschen sind auf den deutschen Banknoten? Which people are on the German money? And I have to disappoint you. Ich muss dich enttäuschen. Wir haben keine Menschen auf unserem Geld. As you might know, in Germany we pay with euros. Wir bezahlen mit Euro und auf den Scheinen sind keine Menschen und die Scheine sind überall gleich. Ich weiß nicht, ob dieser 50-Euro-Schein ein deutscher Schein ist oder ein französischer Schein, ein niederländischer Schein. I can't tell if this banknote is from Germany, from the Netherlands, wherever from, because they are all the same and we don't have any people on there. They're just some buildings from wherever. I have no idea. Dann auf den Münzen. Das hier sind die Münzen. Das sind die Scheine und das hier sind die Münzen. Auf den Münzen gibt es Unterschiede. So, with the coins, there are differences between the different countries. Und hier gibt es Menschen. Ups. Kannst du das sehen? I'm just gonna put a picture. Ich mache dir ein Bild hier hin. Hier kannst du sehen, es gibt Menschen, aber diese Münzen sind keine deutschen Münzen. Diese hier ist aus Spanien und diese hier, keine Ahnung, weiß ich nicht, von 1999, aber das Land weiß ich nicht. I don't know the country where this coin is from. Auf den deutschen Münzen gibt es keine Menschen. Wir haben zum einen den deutschen Adler. Yeah, I'm gonna put a picture again. Das ist der deutsche Adler für die 1 Euro und 2 Euro Münze. Dann haben wir dieses Gebäude, that building. Das ist das Brandenburger Tor. Das ist für die 50-Cent-Münze und für die 20-Cent-Münze und für die 10-Cent-Münze. Und für 5 Cent, 2 Cent und 1 Cent ist es das Eichenblatt. Yeah, you can't see that. I'm going to put pictures because my camera is just not focusing on the coins. Also, auf unserem Geld gibt es keine Menschen. Die Scheine sind europäisch und auf den Münzen haben wir einen Adler, das Brandenburger Tor und ein Eichenblatt. I hope that I was able to answer your questions to your satisfaction, that you learned something new. If there are more questions, if you want me to elaborate on one of those topics, please let me know in the comments and I will see you in my next video. Viel Spaß beim Deutschlernen und wir sehen uns. Bis bald!